So my first straight out question to you is, can you answer what is the root cause of climate change?
I think we don't love the I think we don't love the earth enough, and we don't have enough respect for the earth, and maybe we don't understand the earth enough. So we allow our greed and our desire and our craving and our ambition to push us to consume the earth, to destroy the earth. And we can't see that we are the earth, and that when we're destroying the earth, we are destroying ourselves. We think we need more industrialization, more development, more growth, more cars, a higher standard of living. But in the process, we are destroying the foundation of our living, which is the earth. So it's somehow a kind of blindness, a kind of ignorance in a spiritual sense. And what we do to the earth, we are doing to ourselves. But many of us can't even see what we're doing to the earth. We live disconnected from the earth, live in cities, consumed with the challenges of our own personal life and development and relationships, and we can't feel the earth around us, and we can't hear her suffering, and we can't see the direct connection between the way we're living our life and the way we're destroying our planet.
So then, what could be the solution? The way out?
For me, myself, I think my life has become a lot richer the more I feel connected to the earth, the more I am able to recognize and cherish the earth and all her wonders, great and small, and to feel awestruck, to feel amazed by simple things, by trees, by animals, by the changing seasons, plants, flowers, insects, mountains, and to fall in love with these elements of the earth. And that fills me up. It is fulfilling to be in love with the earth, and then we don't need to chase after consumption, money, power, careers, status. We don't need so much when we are fulfilled with our love for the earth, and when we're fulfilled by the joy of being in community and living simply and deeply. I think there is nothing more beautiful than to live simply and deeply in contact with the earth and living in harmony with fellow human beings. But it's incredible how hard that is to do in our modern society. We somehow have to step out, we have to diverge from the mainstream in order to be able to do that. And I think on our retreats and being here in Plum Village, we want to give many young people a chance to diverge, to be a little bit radical in our way of seeing things, in our way of understanding, in our way of loving, and to have the courage to choose another path for ourselves. And I think when each one of us can choose a path that is more in harmony, with our own wishes, it is naturally in harmony with the earth and with other people. And one by one drops of water, when we can live differently and we can show it is possible to live differently, then I believe as a species we will be able to live differently. We are a garden of hope. We do what we can, and we take care of the seeds of hope and the seeds of love and the seeds of joy and brotherhood and sisterhood. And when we have a community of young people that is climbing the hill of the 21st century with hope, with joy, with peace, with simplicity and with brotherhood and sisterhood, then we will have a community that can face the challenges ahead with non-violence, with openness, with fearlessness, and with compassion.
And why are the 5 mindfulness trainings so important to give guidance?
I think the 5 mindfulness trainings are the biggest gift that our community has to offer to the younger generation. They are a path, they are a direction. And when we have the 5 mindfulness trainings as a guiding light in our lives, we don't need to be afraid. We know exactly what to do and what not to do in order to help. They are practical, they are concrete, and they are very deep. And they show us how in our daily life and in our decision making as young people, we can choose a direction that goes in towards love, towards peace, towards understanding. And they are quite radical. The 5 mindfulness trainings are a radical alternative path, inviting us to diverge from the mainstream, live differently, live in the kind of life we would like to live, to be the kind of people we would like to be. And it starts in these concrete ways, how we respect life, how we use our time and energy, how we pursue intimate relationships, how we use language, speaking and listening, and how we consume. And that is at the basis of who we are on this earth. And when concretely, day by day, week by week, we can live beautifully, according to the good, the true, the beautiful, when we can live with integrity, authenticity, compassion, and with the insight of interbeing in these 5 aspects, then we will be able to transform ourselves and be the people we want to be, and we will be able to help transform society so that we can protect the earth together.
And what happens really during a retreat? Young people come from all over the world, they come here, and after a couple of days of silence, they touch something inside of them. How that works, how the mindfulness practice works and transforms the young people.
So the mindfulness practices we do here in a retreat, they allow us to stop, to rest and to relax. Many of us are running and running and running. We don't have time to think about the earth. We don't have time for ourselves to listen to our own hearts. So always at the beginning of the retreat, I feel like we're taking in refugees from society, and we allow people the best possible conditions to rest, to relax, to stop, to listen to themselves, to slow down and hear their own voice inside their hearts. And through our own voice in our hearts, we can then also hear the voice of Mother Earth. But first, we listen to ourselves. And when we are able to take care of ourselves in these most simple ways, relaxing enough, being present for everything we're doing in the day, being present for our body, being present for our feelings, that's very healing, and that kind of healing we can touch already in the first 2 or 3 days of the retreat. And it's like we had been running away from ourselves or ignoring ourselves, maybe for months or for years. And there have been people on this retreat who had never been able to stop in this way, who'd never experienced slowing down and waking up to the present moment in this way. And then once we can listen to ourselves, then we have space to reflect also on our personal relationships with our family members, our friends, our housemates, our colleagues. And we can see how we can heal our own relationships And then from there, then we can listen to the cries of the earth and hear in ourselves the wish to protect the earth. And we have a lot of space and we release a lot of energy. We open up a great capacity to be able to help the earth. So it's like Tai says, we need to come back to ourselves, come back to our loved ones, and come back to the earth. And when we're running around, consuming, stuck to our screens, we have no chance to do this. But when we come back to these three aspects of our life, then we are well prepared, well equipped to be able to do something to help.
And what kind of things we can do. To go inside is one thing, but what can we do out there? What kind of actions can we undertake?
The way we consume depends on how our heart is. And we cannot hope to consume in an awakened way if our heart is not at peace. And each one of us are agents of consumption. That is one of our biggest actions in relation to the earth, how we are consuming. And when we can fulfill ourselves with dwelling happily in the present moment, when we can fulfill ourselves with healthy relationships, when we can fulfill ourselves with our own compassion for ourselves, we don't need to be excessive consumers. There's no need. So already to cultivate the energy of mindfulness, we can calm the craving and the consuming. And when we can cultivate peace in ourselves, it's much easier to create peace with our friends, with our colleagues, and in any actions we would like to undertake to help protect the earth. So there is a foundation in our mindfulness practice for good relationships. And if we are angry, if we are competitive, if we are resentful and blaming when we are trying to protect the earth, then we have already ourselves become a toxin on the earth with the energy of anger or hatred or blaming. So somehow the mindfulness practices of deep listening, loving speech, openness, inclusiveness, patience, deep looking and understanding that we cultivate on a retreat, all of these qualities we bring to our actions to protect the earth, whether they're political actions, economic actions, nurturing actions, new projects to plant trees or forests, or to develop any kind of project to take care of the earth. It needs to have these elements of compassion, understanding, and fellowship, brotherhood and sisterhood. And there is something about Plum Village that's about sustainability. We do not burn ourselves out trying to protect the earth. And we are part of the earth, and taking care of the earth, we also need to take care of ourselves. So here in Plum Village, we offer a community that is a refuge to take care of ourselves. So we can have a kind of deep, profound well-being inside, taking care of our despair, taking care of our fear, taking care of our anger, our frustration, our feeling of powerlessness. And when we are balanced, spacious, and fearless inside, then we have an incredible resource of energy to be able to make good choices about how to act, what to do and what not to do, individually and collectively, in order to really help.
It was just that question that I wanted to ask, because a lot of people out in the world, we are with 7 billion at the moment, might think, I would like to change something, or I want to take action, I do something, but at the same time you see how huge the problem is, and you can enter into a despair and think it won't help. So maybe you can say how you do that personally, how you keep faith and hope and in this garden of hope.
In my own practice, I trust that nothing is ever lost. We like to learn about Lavoisier. Nothing is created, nothing is destroyed, everything is in transformation. So any act we do, the consequences of those actions are never lost. It's like the image of the starfish stranded on the beach. And if you were to come across that beach and there are thousands and thousands of starfish on the beach, and you think, oh, it's tragic, it's pointless. But who among us will not take one starfish, pick it up, and throw it into the ocean, knowing that we have saved that one starfish? And no one can take it away from us. We know we have saved that one, and then we can save a second one and a third one. So each of us, in relation to our own heart, we do what we can. We do what we can, and we have peace because we have done what we can. It's something about being in the present moment, being where we are, and the value of whatever actions we do in that moment, because somehow we are keeping our love alive, we are keeping our hope alive, and the consequences of that are infinite. And we don't get into a business of counting the starfish, but we say, this starfish was saved, and this one, and that one. And I am at peace as a child of the earth because I have saved this starfish. And don't get me counting on how many I haven't been able to save. But I know that I am doing what I can, and I have peace because I have done my best. So in Plum Village it's the same. Each of us, we do our best. We see what we can do from a place of compassion, understanding, and dwelling in the present moment, not getting lost in our ambitions for what we want to do in the future, not regretting the mistakes we've made in the past, but we establish ourselves in the here and now, and we see, what can I do here and now? And I do that, and even if I die tomorrow, I will have peace. And that is somehow, for me, that is somehow my responsibility to the earth. I will do what I can, and I allow her to stay wonderful through me. If I become lost in despair, Mother Earth is becoming lost in despair through me. And I am still a cool creation of the earth, and I also continue to cherish that cool creation of the earth in my own life, and allow her to sing her song through me, as well as taking action. And when we have despair, it can be overwhelming, and we need to take good care of ourselves. Allow Mother Earth to embrace us. Take refuge in nature. Allow the birds to sing to us. Allow the trees to embrace us. And we also need to look deeply to see that our civilization, if we keep going in this direction, it will end. We will destroy ourselves, and we will destroy many other species as well as our own. So we recognize that and contemplate that, and for myself, I trust that whatever seeds we plant now, they can never be destroyed. And even if it takes millions or billions of years for new life forms to come forth from the earth, for the earth to heal herself and regenerate herself, the good seeds that we sow now, somehow they can never be destroyed. And my personal wish is to cherish the life that Mother Earth has given us. That this is an unfolding miracle every day, and we are blind to it and we hardly appreciate it. But somehow we owe it to Mother Earth to recognize the miracles that she is giving us, to cherish them, to celebrate them. And that is a great source of joy. And we discover that life is a dance and life is a miracle. And we have eyes to see, ears to hear, a nose to smell the fragrance of the rose, and just to enjoy the miracle that is our life. That is already somehow an affirmation of the gift that Earth has given us for now. And maybe all of this will not last forever. In fact, somehow we know it won't last forever. And that helps us to enjoy it in this moment and to cultivate love, compassion, care for one another in this moment, knowing that we will have very, very different manifestations in millions of years' time.
Can you say something about, share something about the Earth Holding Sangha?
There's a bodhisattva in the Buddhist tradition called the earth-holding bodhisattva. So a great being that has the capacity to hold, to embrace, almost to build a bridge between people, between species. And so in the Plum Village tradition we have the earth-holding Sangha, which has been born in the United States. And there are thousands of people practicing in the Plum Village tradition who are also eager to cultivate their own practices and actions to also help hold and protect the earth. And in Europe we are seeding the Earth Holder Sangha, and somehow the Wake Up community is already the soil of the Earth Holder Sangha, and that in the very fabric of our Wake Up communities we have the deep dream, the deep aspiration to take care of the earth. And we hope that in the years to come our Wake Up Sanghas will become a beautiful network of earth holders, engaging in our own lives, in our lives as practitioners and as a community of practitioners, and also engaging in actions in the world, going in harmony with our brothers and sisters in many different other organizations who take one collective habit to focus on at a time. And so we work together. We are informed by our practice, inspired and sustained by our mindfulness practice, and we work together with other groups who choose impactful actions that we can do at any time. And this year the Wake Up Sanghas were supporting actions to stop extracting fossil fuels. So May 2016 our focus was on not extracting fossil fuels. And perhaps in 2017 and other years we will have other focuses, like eating vegetarian 50% of the time, or eating vegan. So we will have different themes as we go through. And it's very important to have something like the Earth Holder Sangha or the Wake Up Sangha to support one another, like a basket. When we are a basket we can carry many more plums. But it's just with our two hands we cannot carry many plums. So the Earth Holding Sangha and the Wake Up Sanghas, we are a kind of basket, trying to do what we can together, trying to hold actions and hold hope together.
Community is essential.
Mhm. We cannot do much as individuals. We can only do it together. We can do it as a community, as a fourfold Sangha. The monks, the nuns, we are a part of it, and young men, young women, they are a part of it. And together, hand in hand, we can go a long way. We can sustain each other, nourish each other, lift each other up when we fall down, and we can walk the long path with courage and non-fear and hope when we walk it together.
Great. Is there anything else that is left? Is there in your heart that you want to share? What is your main? What was the main teaching of Thai in connection with the earth? Is there a line or something of Thai that maybe one day has struck you?
When we contemplate the earth, when we listen to the birds, or when we see a flower blooming, all of these elements, they have a kind of joy and freedom. And I think our practice to protect the earth also needs a kind of joy and freedom. That is to be in harmony with the earth. We have joy, freedom, and creativity with all our actions to protect the earth. And as soon as we are angry or in despair or low in energy, we are somehow further away from the energy of the earth. But when we have her joy, her freedom, and her creativity, then everything flows.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Wouter.